the very dynamic, the amazingly talented Shruti Hassan. Hello.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, and thank you for having me.
So pretty. Seeing you with the red to tunnel, just like I was telling you.
It's very convenient, and in Visha, I learned that apparently your hair grows better and longer if you do this. So I started doing it again.
So our schools were right all the while, is it? Oh my good Lord.
For all of three, I had this look, and then they
Yeah,
modify it like this. And actually,
absolutely.
my hair grew very long after that movie. I should have done the math.
I actually did notice your hair in some close-up shots, and it looks really thick and all that. I was like, that's some good hair back in the film.
Ippa illa.
It's such a pleasure talking with you, Shruti, and it's very nice to see you active. You keep yourself so engaged with all the quarantine stress that we're all going through. How are you coping? Tell us about that.
First, I want to say that there is an overarching, frustrating feeling that there's nothing we can actually do. The thing that we're supposed to do is stay inside. So, given those circumstances, what is the best I can do? It's not easy every day. Some days I wake up and I'm like, and then I have to be like, no, I'm thankful. I'm positive. Wow. I have a house to sleep in. I have food. And then you think about the plight of people there. And I think gratitude is, for me, the constant running theme of this quarantine. And it's really got me to think about what kind of artist I want to be, what kind of person I want to be. What can I do when I come out that can, make me feel better about anything that I do, even in the smallest way?
That was so deep. You said it very simply, but I think it comes from a very deeper sense. And, seeing your quarantine posts, they're all very happy. They're all very positive. And I can see a lot of cooking happening. Yeah. Were you always this an amazing cook?
Amazing. Neenga saaptu paakala. You haven't tasted it, so maybe
romba nalla irukka. It looks very exotic also. All of that is very healthy also.
Exotic. That's what the other day I put up this Thai coconut milk dessert. And my friends called me saying, where did you get the supplies? And I was like, listen, it was in the back of my fridge. Yesterday I could get jackfruit, raw, Tamil lenna.
Palaparam.
So that I got the raw one. So I was like, okay. Let me try. But I think cooking brings me lots of joy. Munnadi, I used to cook for my friends. Especially in Bombay, they'll be like, Shruti, can we come over for sambar? Vatta korambu. I make vendaka korambu, poondu korambu, vatta korambu, then sambar, urlakayanga poriyal, ghost poriyal. I make like really well for my friends. Okay, can we come on Sunday to eat? Now I'm able to cook. There's something weird about cooking for yourself, eating by yourself, and enjoying yourself. The only thing is, at the same time I serve myself, I'll serve my cat her fish food also. We are eating together. But my connection with food has become very deep.
Okay.
And it's almost, the irony is not, fallen upon deaf ears when I'm realizing that I'm sitting here connecting with food, eating by myself, and there are people, literally, I live in an area called Lokanwala in Bombay. Konjam munnadi poningana flyover adilala, they are sleeping, the migrant workers. So the whole situation is very surreal.
It is. And I think I see you actively participating in a lot of events as well online, right? And you're reaching out to people, helping people. Recently I saw a video of yours in which you had given your voice against domestic violence, right? What do you have to say about that, Shruti?
So basically, when the lockdown first started, I realized, okay, I have my housework. I need some sense of schedule. So let me start doing, okay, what do I care about? How is everybody feeling? As I was talking to my friends, I realized different people are having different experiences. So I started with 7 women, and the women who inspire me, and each of them speaking about a different topic. So the first was about using this time with a friend of mine called Tamara. She actually used to be my publicist. And one day she woke up saying, I don't want to do this. எனக்கு இந்த வேலை பிடிக்கல. which
Okay.
maybe for me 5 6 years ago was like unbelievable to even comprehend, that you can have the courage to take a break and restart your life. And that is something I actually did now today, so I value what she did even more. So I asked her, because maybe this is the time for people to reassess. Kirpi, when we're coming out, is that the kind of Shruti I want to be? Is that the kind of job I want to have? Is that the kind of whatever? So one was a mum, because I know a lot of mothers are finding this time difficult because they don't know what activities to give their kids who can't go out. One was about body image. Me and Tamanna, who's also an actress in the same place, spoke about body image, creativity, all of that. Finally, I ended with an amazing writer who was basically, talking about journey of art and how art has helped her make difficult decisions in her life. And that can be anything for you. So when I started talking to these women, I realized that there are so many things I can, now is the time I can sit and think about things that are beyond me, out of me. Because right now, it's just me and my cat in my house. So it's making me think outside of myself for the first time. And I realized when I was talking to people that I must raise my voice about the people going through suicidal depression at this point, anxiety, women who are suffering extreme domestic violence, because these women who are maybe suffering 4 hours of a beating are now suffering 12 hours of a beating. So we are not even comprehending these things. So I don't know how much of a difference I can make, but I think the first difference is always by even just speaking about it.
Absolutely. And, I think like you pointed it out, when an influencer like you speaks about it, there are so many more
Influencer,
people.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
So more people are going to be, watching it, and I think that itself we should be aware for others. Even if we are not going through that, we should be aware for others is a
Yeah.
point that came out in that video, and I think that was brilliant as well. So was there one thing that you realized about your own self during this quarantine? Because so many, like you said, alone with our thoughts. Was there something that surprised you about yourself?
I don't know if it was surprising, but I've been working for a long time to get to this place. People like my father have advised me, some of my friends have advised me. There was a time I was running around like a headless chicken, achieving goals, yes, granted, but those goals were not set by me. So the success didn't feel like mine. I felt disconnected from my own work and life, and that was a very bad feeling. And I had certain ways of thinking and living, habits that I wanted to change to get to this place. So before the quarantine itself, I had started spending time with my own thoughts. And the good thing for me is the uncomfortable thoughts got over before quarantine. I've been in
Okay.
therapy. I'm a big propagator of therapy. I've been in therapy for 2 years, 2.5 years now, where I was able to discuss with a trained professional these thoughts which I was not able to cope with myself and I did not want to share with my friends or family. And we all have that because we don't want to either burden them, or we don't know if they'll be offended, or we don't know if we should be allowed to feel that way. So I feel like a lot of self work, a big chunk of it was done. So this quarantine has been me falling back in love with myself and loving my company very much.
Oh, what you said is so deep. Falling in love with ourselves takes a lot of maturity, Shruti. I mean,
Yeah,
it really does,
it's
Yeah, it
been
does.
it's been a wonderful experience for me.
Right, right. It's brilliant, and it gives me so much warmth. I want to reach out and give you a hug right now, a virtual hug, because you because you just spoke about yeah, to you too, and because you just spoke about something. To say that I've been to therapy and I've been there for 2 years takes a lot of courage. You
Does
come
it?
to a stage where you can, yes, yes, even
Okay.
now. So I'm sure you've put those thoughts at rest. You're at peace with yourself, which is why you're able to talk about it today,
Yes.
with so much courage, right? So
Yeah.
for so many people out there who want to take that first step, trust me, this is going to be such a game changer. When they watch a person like you, telling them, I can be vulnerable too, so somebody doesn't feel so bad.
But people don't understand, Ma, that vulnerability is strength.
Right, right. They
Vulnerability
do.
is strength. The greatest
Right.
strength is vulnerability. So I don't feel afraid of that. Crying is powerful. Feeling an emotion deeply is important. So vulnerability is strength, I believe. Over time, that's what I realized. Because I feel I spent the initial part of my life pretending to be grown up and strong. Then I realized growing up means that you haven't gotten there yet is the realization that you've gotten. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. And I should tell you, I've become a fan of your hula hoops, man. Like, how do you just do it?
I did. Now, Satyama, now எதிர்பார்க்கல. Listen, I was cleaning my house, and this hula
Uh,
hoop is actually what you can connect and make together.
oh,
So
okay,
it's
okay,
lying in separate pieces behind some clothes.
okay.
So I didn't even know I had bought it 100 years back or gifted it. And Satyama, I
Wait,
don't
don't
remember.
tell me you're not trained in that itself, huh?
I did it last time when I was 12.
Thank you very much. No, but otherwise I would have felt like, what? No, this
No, I did
is.
it. I used to do it religiously when I was 12 or 13. Yeah.
Oh,
Then
okay.
I found this and I reconstructed it. And it just came back, I guess it's like that. But I used to be much better at it. Like I could do it on my arm, and I could do two of them, and I was
This
one of
itself
those.
looks pretty effortless for somebody who's tried it. Only if somebody tries a hula hoop, you understand how finicky it is, and it doesn't sort of listen to you
But it's
the
the
way it was
greatest
listening to
core
you.
exercise. That and doing this sweep, mopping the floor. And not like fancy
No.
Angrezi mopping. No. Getting down, குனிஞ்சு தரைய நல்லா தேய்ச்சிட்டு வந்து பண்றது. Yeah, it's the best workout.
Lovely. That was so nice. Anyway, so, if you're actually okay, can we play like a quick this or that game?
Please,
Yeah?
please. Of course.
Okay, so this is going to be like all over, okay? No one particular area and all that.
Right.
You're ready. Stage or studio?
For what? Singing.
It's top of your mind. Is it the stage where you feel in your element, or is it a studio?
They are different. A
Yeah,
different side
absolutely.
comes out. Yeah.
So both.
I think I would prefer to go to the studio first.
Studio, okay. Studio first and then the stage. Okay. Here's a lighter thing. Ice creams or cakes?
Ice cream first. I can't do cake without ice cream.
Oh, okay. So ice creams.
Ice cream or
Black?
whipped cream?
Oh, ice cream or whipped cream, is it? Okay. Black or white?
Black.
Any day.
நான் white போடுறதே இல்ல actually.
I saw like all of your clothes and yeah,
I'm
what
very
you're wearing
nervous
right
about
now.
wearing white.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Really?
don't feel comfortable in it.
Okay. So it's black.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Which is your first love, music or acting?
Expressing myself is my first love. However it happens to come out.
Okay.
I think I express myself differently. I think I have more courage and clarity in musical expression than I do in acting. I'm still learning a lot of things about myself as an actor. But I think musical, but I feel that there's a fearlessness in my musical expression that I still don't have in my acting.
Okay, so it is expressing yourself in any way. Right. Cats or dogs?
Cats. Dogs, animals both, but I have my cat who's sleeping and ignoring me now, but cats.
Yeah, they have so much of an attitude.
எனக்கு அவங்க nature பிடிச்சிருக்கு. Lots of people don't like a cat's nature. I like it because I think even in people ரொம்ப ஈஸி பக்கத்துல பாசமா இருக்கிறவங்க எனக்கு பிடிக்காது.
Oh, okay. So cats.
People who are always there, maybe even just on the side, but love you is very valuable to me.
Nice. Okay. So here's a tough one. Nayagan or Devar Magan?
Devar Magan.
Why?
Because I was more part of the journey. When Nayagan was being made, I was like a chukku baby. But like Devar Magan, I remember being on the set. That's why I'm choosing it. That's number one, for a personal level. Also because I know how much it meant to Appa to be working with Shivaji Tata, as I call him. So that, as well as I feel that Papa had a lot of career-changing creative inputs in Devar Magan. Yeah.
Okay, for those reasons. All right. Would you rather dress up in a ball gown or a jeans and tee? Which is close to your heart?
Depends on the occasion.
It does, but you would feel that, okay, Shruti looks amazing. You would have like a personal favorite, I'm sure.
A ball gown.
A ball gown.
I'm one of those people, that day I wore a nice, lovely, sexy, backless dress at home for myself in quarantine.
You like to dress up and play.
எனக்காக தான் dress பண்றேன்.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And to all the men, I think we need to say, when they say,
women do not dress up for men. Women dress up for other women.
High five. High five there. All right. Sunrise or sunsets?
Sunset.
All right. So commercially successful movies or critically acclaimed movies, which one would you like to be part of?
The best of both worlds.
Why choose one?
Might choose.
Okay. So
But
which
I
one do
do
you
feel
think?
that
Uh,
it's like the grass is always greener on the other side. Critically acclaimed actors may be like, but I have this, but then they might want the stardom.
True.
People who've experienced great stardom are appreciated and loved, but maybe they're like, despite this, they're a star. So I think the best of both worlds is the sweet spot everybody wants.
Exactly. And it's the very thin line to tread and it's so difficult, right?
Yeah, it's very difficult for me, especially because I'm always on the commercial side.
Right. Which one do you find challenging to do? Is it comedy or is it the intimate sequences? Emotionally, which one takes a lot from you?
Intimate or like, do you mean intimate as in physically intimate with somebody else?
Physically intimate or, yeah, physically intimate and stuff like that? Or is it the comedy?
Comedy is always the toughest thing.
Okay, okay. So would you choose if
Comedy is difficult.
okay, so if it was emotional scenes versus comedy, then which one would you choose?
Comedy is still difficult.
Difficult. Okay,
Even in
okay.
life, it's fun. It's harder to crack a good joke than it is to start crying.
And to start crying
Comedy is
straight,
always difficult.
difficult. Right. Which one would you, watch at a first go? Like animation or horror?
Animation.
Yeah? No
Yeah.
horror?
I have a very overactive imagination. I'll very, very honestly tell you guys that எனக்கு வந்து இன்னமும் darkness பயம் தான். Because my imagination is so active, I can start seeing visuals. I remember I saw one of my favorite movies is Signs by Manoj Naik Shamalan, but there's one shot of the alien where he turns like that, and for 3 weeks I just kept seeing the alien everywhere and the darkness and the shadows. So I stopped watching horror films unless it's highly like cinematically acclaimed, because I feel horror is the best genre if you get it right. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so
Otherwise,
animation.
எனக்கு animation ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும். I
Which are
love
your
animation.
favorites? Which are your favorites? Like some.
Lots. I love Japanese animation. So I really
Okay.
love this series called Arjun, Demi-Human. I love it.
Okay.
I love all the Pixar, Disney animations. I loved Inside Out. Yeah, is
Oh
that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
Where
one
they
of my
talk about
favorite.
emotion?
Even
Yeah.
even in writing, I think it's like genius. Lots of people look at animation and say it's kids' movies. They're not. It's like so
Mhm.
deep and sensitive. Up again, beautiful. Wall-E, stunning. I love dystopian animation like Love, Sex and Robots. If people haven't seen it, is like amazing. I love Rick and Morty. I love BoJack Horseman, which is adult animation, adult stories told in animation. By that I mean like fully grown up, deep, emotional, wry sense of humor, but through. So I'm like, don't even get me started on animation. I'm obsessed.
Okay, that's like a sweet spot for sure. All right, so here's another difficult one. Which one is your favorite to
Say
watch?
hi, Clara.
Hi. She actually said hello. But
Yeah,
when,
she's good.
anyhow. I'm glad. I feel very fortunate right now because cats don't even
Yeah,
care.
she's a good girl. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, yeah, I don't know. So which one do you, when you watch it, that makes you go in awe? Is it to see your appa's dance, or is it to him? Is it to watch him speaking in Tamil?
I more than awe when he speaks Tamil, it's confusion because I do not understand his level of Tamil. I have to be honest. And I think a reason why Tamil is not as strong as it should be, it's not so precise, is because it was like it felt like trying to understand Shakespeare to me. So it was so complicated for me to understand. And I just always felt like that I was terrible at it. So I actually worked very hard to, be very precise and proper with my English vocabulary. Because I was like, நான் இங்கிலீஷ் மீடியம் ஸ்கூல்ல இருக்கேன் ஏதாவது கொஞ்சம் சரியா பண்ணிக்கிறேன். So I would say that I try to compensate with my Hindi and my English vocabulary. So in all, I would definitely say is dance. Tamil, அப்பா பேசுற தமிழ் எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியும், but I don't understand it. A lot of the times, Appa will say a poem or he'll say, "You're not a speech party, Shruti." I'll be like, "Paate, can you explain what it is?" Because it just goes over my head. And people might say, "How can you be Kamal's daughter, no Kamal Hassan's daughter, not no Tamil?" But I don't. It's a part. It's a part of my truth. It was very intimidating for me to understand that level of Tamil. And I was in an English medium school. I remember Tamil was my third language, and I had like Ammavum, Agilavum, Kanvilithanar, kind of ended. So for me, my Tamil is what I've learned actually after I was 18, 19. I never even spoke Tamil much till then.
Your thinking still happens in English, but when your speaking happens in Tamil, right?
So when I do now a Tamil, Telugu or Hindi film, I precisely start to make the effort to think in the language.
Okay.
Because it changes my body language. It changes
True.
my reactions. So I try not to think in English. It sounds strange, but it's really, really hard not to instantly think in the language that you're comfortable in.
Because
So definitely his dance, because I think he made dance very masculine yet graceful. And
absolutely.
as a person who loves dance myself, I would say to achieve that quality, especially in a dance form such as Bharatnatyam, which is quite effeminate in its root body postures, is brilliant. So I'm very much in awe of his dance.
Absolutely. I mean, like, effortless are அவரோட dance,
And
பார்க்க
masculine.
and masculine. Exactly. It's absolutely right. So he was able to strike that balance. And அதே மாதிரி கமல் சார் தமிழ் பேசினாலுமே I wonder, how does he come up with those words first and then say them in such a nanosecond gap? Does he think like that? Such
He does.
effective words. Such
He
effective words.
introduced me to a way of thinking which really changed my life called lateral thinking. So he
Okay.
doesn't think linear. He thinks laterally, and that helps a lot.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, those must be, like the conversations you have, right? So, Insta or Twitter?
Insta.
Okay. And if it had to be short hair or long hair?
Short.
Ah, okay. Breakfast or dinner?
Dinner.
Ah. Lovely. So if there is one thing that, Appa gets really worried about Shruti doing, yeah, what would that be? Does he
Losing my temper.
Okay. Okay. So he reminds you occasionally about that. Does he get worried about it? Does he
No, I
speak
can
to
be
you?
very blunt. More than
Okay.
temper, because I've controlled my temper over the years. In fact, his nickname for me is Satakopa, which finds its etymological roots in Satagopan. So it's like, yes. So he thought I was an angry kid as well. It's not like an adult trait. I had a short temper even as a kid. So,
Okay.
so that's one thing he's constantly told me about my temper. So now what has happened is the temper has tempered itself and turned into a very brutal truth. So now with a very calm demeanor, I say exactly what I'm thinking, which also I'm learning to tone down.
Like diplomatically, asking
No,
people
I
to.
can't be very diplomatic. I feel sometimes that diplomacy is on a thin line between honesty and dishonesty. Silence is the best option.
Oh my God, that's so difficult to practice, right? When you want to say something and then you have to swallow it, like, okay, you'd rather be quiet at that place, is it?
Better. Silence is really a virtue in some situations.
Okay. So you've also collaborated with Rahman sir. You've
Yes.
actually done a song. You want to tell us about that particular number?
I'm a big fan of Rahman sir. Really, really big fan of his. And I mean, when I was growing up, there was Roja and all of that. But I remember the soundtrack that changed. I used to be only listening to Kurt Cobain and, rock and roll or like English music. And the thing and old stuff, Raja sir, MSP sir, because of my parents, R.D. Burman. I didn't have a favorite. The favorites were passed down. I remember listening to the soundtrack of Rangila and it completely changing what I thought music is supposed to sound like in Hindi and in Hindi words, It was very, very amazing. So I became a fan then. I used to go to school in Ambassador and that tape, I think they had to buy it for me 3 times because the tape broke because I would rewind and listen so many times. And then I think one of my all-time favorite soundtracks is Dil Se. It's really one of my, in terms of soundscape and sound design and usage of voice and usage of music, I think Dil Se is very powerful. So I've been a very, very big fan of his, always. Um, when he called me to sing for the first time ever was for the Semmolli. So
Okay.
I went there nervous as ever, not knowing what to expect. And what I found was a very nice, humble, brilliantly talented, quick, and fun gentleman who I didn't expect. Like, he is really someone who is very, when people say you are spiritual, I genuinely think he's very spiritual. And that's why he makes the music he makes, because his understanding of how to interact with human beings is very gentle and beautiful. So, not only am I a fan of his music, I'm a big fan of his personality, especially how he is with his family. These are all beautiful qualities. So if Rahman sir says, Shruti, I need you to go at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and sing in Andheri station, for me, I'll do it. Anything for him. Just such an honor to be a part of anything he does.
Absolutely. And this, the lyrics also are so positive. And when I heard it, there was like a lump in my throat because it's something, it's an emotion that
It's
all
the
of us are
way
going
the way he writes, no? How he uses the words and music is really
through.
beautiful.
Brilliant. So that hum har nahi manenge,
Yeah,
that's
we will
the
not
track.
accept defeat or we will not succumb is in itself
Yes.
such a
Yes.
nice line.
It's a beautiful line. You think you can sing a couple of lines for us if you remember that? Do you?
I have only one line in that
One
song,
line.
ma.
What do you
हम
think you can?
हार नहीं मानेंगे हम हार नहीं मानेंगे and then everybody sings.
Oh, so nice. And that was like so quick. And it's like, you're singing for all of us today because that's the emotion that we all
No,
have in
I
this.
just had that one line. I'm so happy to sing it for them answer.
It's absolutely brilliant. So here's the last thing I want to ask you. Is there something that you have taught Kamal sir recently?
I don't teach him anything, ma.
Something at all? Like, sometimes, what's trending right now? Would you have
He,
had a conversation at all?
he's not, I don't think,
Something that you
no.
would have let me know.
I can introduce him to things, but I can't teach him anything, no.
For example, like a trend, a popular trend which is catching up, or you
Does
don't.
he look like somebody who's affected by trends?
No, he is like timeless. If there's
He is only
something
one trend.
eternal,
So,
yeah.
அவர்கிட்ட போய் trend காமிக்க தேவையில்ல. Yeah.
Okay, so some nothing like that, like particular TikTok video that you would have done. Pa, you know what I'm doing on TikTok or something like that.
No.
Okay, lovely. So thank you so much,
My pleasure.
Shruti, for interacting with us. Okay, and I love your makeup skills. I saw your video with Prakriti the other day.
Thank
Okay,
you.
கரெக்டா அந்த லென்ஸ் முன்னாடி அந்த மேக்கப் போடுறதே ஒரு தனி திறமை I feel. And get it right without seeing. That was actually a very lovely video. And last thing before we
Yes.
sign off, one thing that I feel that you're amazing at. How do you handle trolls? Like you need to be really really strong on one side. How do you do this with them? Like you want to give it back right them, or in the night before you go to sleep, does it work you up? Something they said.
So, I'll be honest with you, I don't have that many trolls. I've had a spike in troll behavior at certain points. For example, when I was doing the Telugu version of Prema,
Okay.
that time people took it upon themselves to say you mustn't. But I had my paycheck, I had a lovely co-star, I had a lovely director, I was going to do the movie, I was going to do my best. My focus is on that. I would say that any kind of this troll behavior now has a voice. It has a voice and it has a very wonderfully veiled, electronically veiled voice. Abrin Salala. But the world has time immemorial been full of people who pass comments on things that do not concern them. And that is a habit I've tried to eradicate from my own life. And therefore, one step of eradicating it is not to give it power when other people are behaving that way. And when it comes to social media, I've chosen very specifically to use it for the good, to use it as a medium for me to express things that I don't have to be dependent on others to put across what Shruti is. And when you do that, you should be ready to accept that there will be people who accept you. And when they accept you, it's really nice. And there'll be people who don't. But that's even in life, not just social media, right? So if you're going to be a person who cares about what other people think, I would say that's not a good habit because it hampers your own growth.
Okay, I'm sure the people who are watching it will take that pretty seriously because every woman goes through that in her own small way. You being a star,
That's why
you
I
notice
put
it.
up that post that day saying, hey guys, 1 second. This is what I want to say. I don't want to say, you shut up. No, that's not the solution. No, if I can change an opinion, I have achieved more than asking someone to shut up. Definitely.
Right, right. Absolutely. Thank you, Shruti, for being so patient, and you were such a sport. And
Pleasure.
thank you for really being, what do I say, for getting so much of positivity into our lives. Okay, for those
My
of them
no,
watching
no,
you,
thank you.
you
Thank
know.
you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I had a great time speaking with you. You've made my day because, we're also working from home under
Yes.
really different circumstances.
It's
And
strange for everyone. Yeah.
it is, it is. Right? So, you brought in a lot of warmth and brightness to my day.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
And yes,
Thanks.
just before I sign off, let me tell you guys, Shruti in her own way is doing so many things. And if you think you also care, of course, there's a QR code right here. Do click on that and make a contribution, and let's help our COVID warriors, the front runners. Thank you, Shruti Hassan.
Thank you.